He's here with us. He is a model shipwright. Welcome.
Thank you very much, caller.
And Steve's been here for about 2 years.
Exactly.
And in that short amount of time, you've uncovered a pretty amazing story.
It's actually pretty astounding. In the last 2 years, I've not only been commissioned to build a very special ship model that was the pride and joy of the people of Coos Bay, a ship called the Western Shore, but also a huge wealth of photography has come my way, depicting all of the tall ships that were built in Coos Bay in the late 1900s.
Now, this is pretty fascinating because before this time, before these photos were found, there was no documented history of these tall ships.
That's exactly right. Well, they've been documented just briefly in historical books, in writing, but nothing in photography. And believe it or not, there's a huge wealth of photographs depicting many of the tall ships built in Oregon's Coos Bay. An example is this one here, the schooner Churchill that's leaving the North Bend facility of Captain Simpson.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about this ship and...
Well, to give you an example, you notice that this ship is fully loaded with lumber, so she's obviously a large lumber ship, and she's just about 200 feet long. Well, most of the famous clipper ships that we've heard of over the years, such as the Cutty Sark, are about 180 feet in length. So this is a true world-class tall ship. All of the ships that were built here sailed literally around the world.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at some of the other photos.
Here's another photograph of one of the more popular ships in the collection that I've put together, and this one's called the Gardner City, another famous three-masted barkentine built at the Simpson shipyard. And this one, as you see, is painted white. The reason for that is that Gardner City was also known as White City. So in commemoration of that, this ship reflects that look.
How did you come across all these photos?
It's quite interesting. After I built a ship model of the Western Shore, I was contacted by a lady who owns a retirement home, and she told me that she had a vast collection of photographs in a basket that had been left behind by a gentleman who passed away a couple of years ago, a gentleman named Victor West. So I've been given access to this photo collection, and I've been restoring all of these photographs digitally so that they're preserved forever.
Well, tell us about this photo here.
Well, this is pretty interesting. Here's a picture of the Gardner City. Believe it or not, they had a mid-ocean collision. Can you imagine, out in the ocean about 600 miles offshore on the way to Hawaii, another schooner ran into the Gardner City, causing the damage that you see here. Well, they managed to limp her back to shore, and the ship was eventually laid up. But she's an absolutely beautiful ship, and from this unfortunate shipwreck photograph, you get to see some of the look of the hull designs of these ships that were built on Coos Bay. Here's another photograph. You know, when ships are wrecked, they don't move very fast, so it's easy to get these high-quality photographs. This one here is the Marconi, which was wrecked underneath Sunset Cliffs, and much of the wood that was salvaged off the Marconi and used out at Shore Acres to build some of the facilities out there.
How big was this ship?
This one is just over 200 feet long, a very large ship, and she made 7 or 8 voyages out of Coos Bay before this unfortunate wreck happened. Carla, it's amazing. There were over 56 tall ships similar to this one built on Oregon's Coos Bay. There's no other shipyard on the west coast of the United States that ever built that large a number of tall ships.
And no one's ever made any kind of a deal out of this before. This last photograph is one of my favorite ones, simply because of the story behind it. This is the schooner Illumina, another schooner built here at the North Bend facility of Captain Simpson. The Illumina sailed for the Simpsons for about 25, 30 years. Well, just after Prohibition was over with, she was sold to an Alaskan brewery. And as the story goes, people in Ketchikan, Alaska, when the whistle would sound at the end of the day and work was done, they used to tap each other on the shoulder and say, "Hey, let's go out to the Illumina and have a schooner of beer." Huh.
So who knows if the term schooner of beer is actually attributed to a Coos Bay tall ship.
Wow.
But this is just an example of many of the stories behind this fantastic collection of photographs, and my intention is, by Christmas of this year, to have a large book entitled The Tall Ships of the Coos Bay to document this entire story with these rich photographs.
About how many photographs are there?
There's well over 1,500 photographs that document this history. And we're very, very happy that the Coos County Historical Society and the Coos Art Museum have taken it upon themselves to preserve these photographs so that anybody in the community can have access to them and use them.
Okay. Well, just in closing, you're planning on putting a book together coming up this December. Go ahead and tell us about it.
That's correct. I want to do a large coffee table-sized book that will depict all of these fantastic ships in very nice photographs. And I hope to have that out by Christmas of this year.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Steve.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again tonight. News at 11 continues.